Since we're here and driving over it, give this thing a bit of a clean. Did I close up the lid? I can't remember. I'll check that in a minute. Okay, that's done. Jump in and I will pull the trailer so the hitch is past that point. That might work. I'll try and sneak this past. Ooh. Not an easy thing to drive, but ooh, wrong way. Oh, that's not even. Brilliant. Okay, engine off. Jump out. Shut the window. Think. Okay, let's have a look. That chicken's not worth anything. That chicken's worth £4. So we'll sell that. That's worth 4. Sell that. And we have 3 roosters. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 roosters. So I'm going to sell the big male chickens. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll confirm that and we'll buy a couple more roosters. And check animals. We have 69 chickens. Oh, number 44 is maybe I should have sold number 44. Looks like I missed a couple. Okay. So all of these are new. Oh. So the trick is female chickens lay eggs. Okay, that one's not heavy enough yet. Male chickens take up space. So we're really not interested in keeping male chickens. But we're only going to sell them when they're worth a bit of money. Okay. Male chickens also get heavier than female chickens, so they're worth more. But female chickens will lay eggs, and some of the eggs will be fertilized by the roosters, and so we'll make more chickens. And other than that, we'll sell the eggs that we make. Okay, how is this tractor is doing a good job by the looks of it. Hey, jump. Okay then. I'll kick the worker out at the end of the row. Get out. And then we'll take over and do the rest of the field. Now this shouldn't take us very long at all. Which is good. I need to adjust my point of view so I can see along the edge of the tractor. Try and keep the lines somewhat straight. I don't have a weeder, but I do have a sprayer, and I'm using the Mercury Farms building pack for on-farm supplies. So all of the fertilizers and lime and stuff, seeds. Down the other side of the tractor. I wanted to get this side sewn relatively straight again. Some interesting ground textures on this map as well. I think probably much better than the Farm Sim default textures, although there's a lot of modders or map makers who are playing with the textures. I think the big problem, as with most most of the smaller field maps, is plus I started from scratch, so I didn't have a lot of money to spend on equipment, and I didn't have a lot of money to spend on land, and I didn't want to tap out the bank for large loans, which is a mistake some people make. So, the size of fields I have isn't going to make me a lot of money very quickly. But the advantage with this map is the number of fields and the number of contracts available on those fields makes a huge difference to your income potential. So this, I would say, if somebody wanted to do a sort of survival type series where you're starting with nothing and building up a farm from scratch, this is a good map to do it on, because you have a lot of options for contracts. They're not paying good. They don't pay much. But on any given day, I can probably fertilize 6 or 7 fields and get paid for fertilizing. You fertilize all the fields, you get paid for that. And so that turns into a nice income over time. But individual fields, you're getting paid 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Whereas on some, if you go to somewhere like Ravensport, the fields are big that you end up. Sorry, I seem to be having some problems with lifting my cedar. each individual contract you do, you get paid a lot more money for, because you're working that much more land. But the advantage with that is you can do a bunch of small contracts every day, and it doesn't take you long to afford a small 90-ish horsepower tractor like this, buy your own fertilizer spreader, and keep all the money from the contracts that you're doing. Get yourself a small plough, get yourself a small seeder like we have, or a small cultivator, and just rack out as much contracts as you can in the first year so you can afford a harvester. Or use the do multiple contracts mod, and do a harvesting contract and use that harvester to harvest your land, because you can. I think you can use the harvester, you can't use the header. You can only use the header on the land that you are contracted to use it on. Similar with a tractor, you can use the tractor anywhere, but you can only use the tipper to haul grains that you're supposed to be hauling in it. Well, there's ways and means, but really you don't have to do that. You can just pick a small mod tractor and go with that. Don't even have to have one with a roof on. I predict you could go a long way on this map, even not playing seasons. In fact, you could probably progress faster not playing seasons, because you can do harvesting contracts where you're borrowing the equipment rather than using your own. And we already saw, I mean, if I'd used the equipment on that harvest we just did, rather than using my own, I'd probably only have been paid €1,000 or £1,000, because I haven't changed the currency. But that doesn't matter, because the bonus yield is 3,900. You get more from the excess than you do from what you paid to pull in. Do a couple of harvesting contracts, you're going to rake in quite a nice bit of money. And as we've seen, there's fields on here that are $3,000, $10,000, whatever. I didn't load. I don't think it was available when I set up this playthrough. Mowers there. Oh no, there it was. So you can always use one of these. 4,300 for a little mower. 999 for a thing. Don't bother with the small baler. No. Got the bale spike, I haven't used that. But what else is there? There's loading wagons. Don't think. I got the small pottinger, which is 2130 or 3,300. 31,000. So I could handle grass. The problem is with, as we said, with seasons, grass doesn't make you any money unless you have some way of turning it into a silage. I think there's a couple of silage bunkers across the way. Or there's a spot of land across the way that I could put a silage bunker in and make my own silage. At which point I could buy one of those small mowers and a collection wagon. And there are some smaller collection wagons that cost less money now. In fact, there's going to be a couple of Pottinger, I think about 3 Pottinger collection wagons. That one I have as a mod currently, and 2 smaller ones coming out in the Alpine pack. So that's potentially an option as well. Put yourself a silage bunker in and then just cut grass and make silage. With that small scythe mower. Oh, we've got enough money to buy the collection wagon. We'd have to save up a little bit more to get the scythe mower. And then I need a silage bunker and a bit of land to put it on. Oh, I need to sign this. It's 9/3/2020. Okay, sorry about that. Need to sign forms for adopting people. So we're doing 5:30 game day. Looks like what we may end up with is 2 fields planted, and that one on the right will do tomorrow. Since growth happens at midnight, I will quite possibly do some more contracts tomorrow game day morning, and then finish off the day with another planting session on that field. We'll see how quickly they grow. I'm going to need to check the planting scheduler to see when we need to get stuff in the ground by, in order for it to be growing at the start of spring. So set this field a little bit triangular. So for the most part I have been dragging this fairly straight. Done. Turn around. So, sometimes I wish I had larger equipment for this sort of thing, but fields are so small it really doesn't matter. It's just that with seasons you're doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, I didn't look to see if there was another harvesting contract. Oh, yeah, I did. There's a sowing contract and then a whole bunch of fertilizer contracts. What I'm not sure is whether those fertilizing contracts are on winter crops or whether they're pre-harvest contracts. On fields of soybeans, sunflowers and corn. Could potentially still need to be fertilized, but I'm pretty certain that from probably, oh actually we're playing 9-day seasons on this. So yeah, there's the potential we could have fertilizers contracts on stuff that isn't ready to harvest yet. Keep forgetting this was a long playthrough. We're on episode, what is it, 15 now. And day 3, 4, 18. So this is the 21st game day of this playthrough, but only 15 episodes. So we have been jumping days quite significantly. I think most of the time when it's raining, I skip the rain so we can get on with farmyard stuff. Okay, one more pass on that, and that field is done. Okay, how are we doing on? Still got 31% seed, so that should be more than enough for 37. The only question is time. Sun will be setting soon, so I kind of like to avoid planting stuff in the night. But once I've started, I have to finish. Because I don't want a field... I don't want a field that's half planted one day and then the rest of it the next day, because you could end up with crop growth and still waiting for crop growth. Oilseed radish is a slow grower. It grows about... If it takes 2 days for say wheat to grow, it'll take 3 days for oilseed radish. So we're planting this early enough that it's going to be in a growth stage by the time before winter. So I will be able to plough it in and plant a money crop before winter. That's really not a problem. What you're risking is if you're planting oilseed radish, late fall, you may not see it grow, which means you're not going to be able to plough it in and plant something else before winter. Now, of course, that's not a problem if you're planning to plant sunflowers, corn, or soybeans, because they don't plant until late spring for the most part, and so you want to leave your cover crop in to protect the land over the winter. Oh, we're drifting. Okay. There's a little bit of an overlap. I found the row markers on this to be kind of unreliable because the seeder's only 3 meters wide. Those arms are only 1.5 meters long. And so, you know, trying to match up the tractor with the middle of the marked row frequently doesn't work out. It's much easier when you've got, you know, a 9 meter seeder with 4.5 meter arms or whatever it works out at. Because then, you know, if you're 30 centimeters off to the wrong, you know, to the better side, you know, the safer side, yeah, the overlap is minimal. But on this, it's just, yeah, very, very difficult. We'll do it at 6:30. I think we're going to end up at least completing this close to the end of daylight. So yeah, if I do that, I'll lower the seeder. So that's making a mark. It doesn't really appear to be that visible. Oh yeah, with this ground texture. At least there's a lot. It's very bouncy, so it's, you can lose the mark quite easily. Once I get to the end, lift that up, lift the seeder up, turn the tractor around. Now technically I need to line the tractor up on that row. Well, let's see how that works out. I mean, it also almost looks like the row is pretty much on the track of the planted row. So maybe I need to move it over, but let's say that's the middle. How does that work out? It looks like I've got my front wheel on planted crop, so it doesn't work out. Now obviously when the arm's 4.5 meters wide, that's not so much of an issue. Let's see if we can follow that. I'll line the tractor up in that bit, see how it does. But it still looks like I'm driving on already planted crop on the left side. I think the arm's too short. But bigger planters with longer arms, you know, you're not driving where you just planted. Ever. At least not unless you have an 18 meter wide tractor or whatever it works out at. So anyway, that's why I don't use the row spur markers on this thing. Okay, you take care, Hail Team, and yeah, we'll be back Saturday morning round about 9 o'clock-ish with, what are we doing on Oatfield? Making hay? I think we were supposed to make hay, or I made it, or something. Anyway, something will happen, we'll do stuff. And probably need to feed the sheep, because they're perpetually hungry. But yeah, so all we're doing here is planting a cover crop which protects the soil when it rains. And yeah, because normally now we'd be leaving this field alone until spring or late fall and planting something to grow next year. And there are many days and months between now and when we're going to plant a cash crop where there is a strong likelihood, it being fall, that we may end up with a bunch of rain. And what we don't need is our dirt washing away with all the nutrients, because that will result in worse crop growth next year, or the need for more fertilizer.